Tamara on the next question.
Okay, so what advice do you give to women in abusive relationships?
Ooh, that's a good one. Let's go with that. That's
Bitch, run.
Yikes.
You know what? The running emoji? Run. Or that meme with
The TikTok.
Run.
Literally.
Oh, I feel like it's so complicated.
It's so complicated.
It is so complicated.
I would
There's
say
so many
you
forms,
are,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
and like I would just say like you are so strong, like you are stronger than you know. But yeah, get your ducks in a row and then run. Because I mean, it's easy to say just run, but like there's so many other factors. Like what if you have kids or like I don't know,
What
your
if you're
financial
financially
situation.
dependent?
Yeah, there's so many factors. So just be strong and.
So let me narrow it
That's
down.
so
What if
sad.
it's a physically abusive relationship? What do you tell that person? And they
Talk
feel
to
like they
someone.
can't leave.
They say they can't
They
leave.
feel like they
Oh,
can't
they
leave
feel like
because
they
of
can't
kids,
leave.
let's say, for instance.
Well, you can. You can always leave. Like it's gonna be hard, but you gotta go. Yeah.
I feel like you need that confidant. You need someone that you can divulge all the details to give you like a sounding board. Like you need to have someone that you can confide in and trust with everything to allow yourself to like talk through the motions of leaving that relationship or like someone to give you the push in order
I'll play
to
devil's
the
advocate
question-
just
the
before you go.
question
Just before you
says
go, I'm gonna play devil's advocate to that though, because I've known a girl that was in an abusive relationship, but in her mind she always would say, "I caused it. The only reason why he hit me is because I made him hit me," and she couldn't leave because in her mind she would always go, "It's my fault. It's not his fault." How do you correct something like that?
because she's verbally abused, she's being manipulative, he's a narcissist.
Psychological.
There's so many different types of abuse that really you have to like take it as a whole picture. Like, for instance, I have a girlfriend that literally just left an abusive relationship and it took years for her to even see it. A kid, a proposal, an almost marriage, to the point that like I was literally on her bachelorette weekend being like, man, you shouldn't do this. Like, if I could be that one person that looks back and tells you the truth that you shouldn't do this, like, you need to have a community around you. Like, you have to be able to give information to somebody. You have to be able to lessen that load on your, like, off of your heart and give that, like, you know, allow someone to help you through that situation. I don't think that you can do it alone necessarily. I think you need kind of like a rally of support behind you to give you the confidence in order to escape that reality.
So the advice would be like ask for help,
I was
kind
about
of
to
thing.
say,
Yeah.
specifically, what would you tell her though? Because
Yeah.
the question is, what advice would you give? So someone comes to you and they're saying,
Yeah.
"I'm being abused," like word for word. Like, what are you gonna say?
I would literally say you can do it by yourself. This isn't what love is. Like, love isn't supposed to be hurtful. Love isn't supposed to cause you pain. Love isn't supposed to make you cry at night. Love isn't supposed to, like, taint your soul or make you doubt yourself. That's not what love is whatsoever. Like, it's the complete opposite of everything that you're feeling. So I think the advice would be, like, is to dig deep within yourself and be able to find your own strength in order to leave that situation. And it might take months, it might take years, you literally have no idea. But until you find yourself and you have the strength to leave, is then you'll look back and be like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, how did I even tolerate that? Why did
Once
I
you're
even
out of
think
it.
that was acceptable? But when you're in it, you don't think of anything else but like the whole like, why me, or this is happening because of me, because you're so belittled and you're so neglected as to what love is. It's just a negative environment.
I think the advice I give would be depending on the individual. I think in those type of situations, everything that you said is very valid, but I think what I would take away from your point, in my opinion, is that it depends on where the person is at when they come to talk to you. Sometimes people are, as you said, they're so deep into their pain, they're so deep into their situation, that they really don't want to fix it. They just want to talk to you about it. So if they're coming to me and they're seeking for, advisement, but it's clear that they don't, like, you can only help someone if they want to be helped. So if they're coming to you for advice, but they don't actually plan on change or reprimanding their situation, it sounds a little harsh, but I don't think I would, it's not a waste of breath, but for lack of better words, waste my breath to pour into and feed and love and care for someone in that sense when I know that this is not registering. I would definitely like support, but when you're ready to accept it and you're ready to hear it and you really want to ingest what I'm telling you, then I think that's when I'd come with all of that encouragement. Okay, like now you're ready to leave? All right, I'm right here with you, before you, I'm beside you. But up until that point, I think people, they have to kind of, sometimes they have to come to conclusions on their own before they're ready to take your advice. So what advice would I give? I think I'd assess who's, where they're at and what they need to hear and what they need at that moment. And depending on where they're at, if they're really ready to leave, then, advisement as such. If they're at a point where they're not really ready to leave, they just really want to vent, then I just listen.
Yeah, but they can vent and you can still give them advice as to like how to navigate the situation. Yeah. Not to go back in it and still think that this is an acceptable relationship. Mm-hmm.
But you don't think sometimes people don't listen? You're giving them advice, but they're not hearing you.
I know, but I think it's because there's so much trauma, there's so much hurt. Until the person is actually physically ready to like stand up by themselves and like realize that there's an issue, they will never leave. Yeah. But I think like having a circle of people that can kind of like give them positive influences and give them positive information to say, like this isn't a healthy relationship, or like this isn't what love is, this isn't what you deserve, or perhaps there's issues with him or vice versa, like you never know, or her, like the abuser could be a female too. It really goes both ways.
That's true too.
But I think you have to be open to the positive and negative feedback. Like there's really, I don't know, it's like such a sensitive situation, but I think that you also have to be able to separate your emotions from the reality of things. And if you need to tell your friend, like, man, this is a hard situation and this isn't something that you should be in for your mental stability, for your physical stability, for anything, like you're not getting any positive attributes, like this is a whole negative situation, you should be able to voice that and help them navigate it, as opposed to just being like, it'll get better, like it won't. Like a zebra won't change its stripes, a cheetah won't change its spots, like it is what it is.
But I think the person that is in it also, like to Deandra's point, it's almost like an addict. Like they need to want to come out of it. Because I've been in a situation personally where I've had a friend who's been in a physically, emotionally, psychologically abusive relationship. I've tried to help her come out of it. And then she just went right back into it.
She's not really hearing what you're
She
saying.
wanted to come out of it. She was saying she wanted to come out of it. So I helped her come out of it. Physically helped her come out of it. Financially helped her come out of it. But then she went right back into it. So it's very tough. I think that if the person does have the support around them, that is a blessing. And that is like, that's a very, very good thing for them to have, but not everybody has that either. Like not everybody in that situation has a community around them, right? Or, you know what I mean? So I think that that person needs to want that help too.